commenter asked me an interesting question recently, and that was, is the crypto trade mostly over? And he didn't mean a specific trade I had talked about. He didn't mean this cycle. What he meant was crypto's gone from not existing to a $3 trillion industry, has most of the money to be made already been made. In this video, I'm going to answer that question. Now let's get into it. And before you break out your pitchforks and torches and come after me, let's break down exactly what it means to say, is the trade over? Because of course there's still money to be made in crypto, right? You could start a business, you could short it, even if you think it's going to go down. There's a lot of ways you actually could make money in crypto, regardless of how you think the industry is going to grow in the future. But the real question is it the fastest horse moving forward? There's 1,000 places you could spend your time. Is crypto the one that makes the most sense? And in order for it to make the most sense from my perspective, as someone who's puts a ton of effort into building a career in crypto, building a business in crypto, is it likely to outpace other things you could be spending your time on? Because most of us could be doing all sorts of things. And in order to do that, it needs to have the ability to, the whole size of the industry has to increase by many times, not just like a 2x over a few years. Second, you have to be able to benefit from increasing network effects. So it has to go from however many users, not investors, but however many users it has now, maybe hundreds of millions, to having billions of users. And if that happens, then absolutely, it makes sense to spend time there, and the trade is not over. So let's talk a bit about first the state of where it is. Current total crypto market cap, as of the time I'm making this, is just over $3 trillion. So say $3 trillion and $50 billion and some change. But how big is that really? And what I mean by that is that the vast majority of that is going to be concentrated in a few tokens or coins that serve a specific purpose. So let's just break it down. To start, nearly $2 trillion of that, so almost 2/3, is Bitcoin itself. In fact, if you look at all smart contract platforms, all right. So if we look at categories, we look at smart contract platforms. Now I don't know exactly why Bitcoin is classified as this, but it is. So that includes Bitcoin, includes Ethereum, includes Solana, etc. We're looking at $2.575 trillion. So already right there, out of the $3 trillion, 50 billion, we've got, I don't know the exact percentage, but 2.5 trillion, 2.6 trillion is smart contract platforms. But we've also got stablecoins, right? Stablecoins are useful, but it's not actually the value of a business. It's basically tokenized fiat currency on chain. And that's another $2.44 billion. And there's going to be no overlap between that and smart contract platforms, because stablecoins are, by definition, they're a token. They're not a smart contract platform. So just taking those two, we can do some quick back of the envelope math here. And basically it's going to come out to over $2.8 trillion. But that's not all. Because if we look at the top 10, we also have XRP, which is not listed as a smart contract platform here. If you have an issue with that, take it up with CoinGecko, but it's not listed there. So we add an XRP, which is another $130 billion. So then we're looking at something like $2.9 trillion plus of this total crypto market cap is either smart contract platforms, stablecoins, or other layer ones like XRP. And what's my point in all this, right? Because of course those things matter. My point is that if you actually look at the application layer in crypto, it's much, much smaller than the $3 trillion you see with the total market cap. It's probably more like 100 to $200 billion. And if we look at the largest ones, so we go back to CoinGecko here, look at the largest ones that are not chains. You also have meme coins, by the way, which I didn't even pull out before, but the largest ones that are not chains here, you have Hyperliquid, which is also its own chain, but is also an application. You're going to have something like Uniswap. These things, we're talking single digit $1 billion. Uniswap, $3 billion. So there's actually not, for example, $500 billion crypto applications, $500 billion or trillion-dollar crypto applications. And there are companies that are worth that much, but there's not crypto apps that are worth that much. And so the point is that if you actually look purely at the application layer in crypto, there's really not that many unicorns, applications with a market cap over $1 billion. And even if you look at the past few years, so much attention and effort in the industry has gone into building infrastructure, different layer ones, everyone trying to make the fastest layer one, different layer twos, different modular infrastructure, things that are often several times removed from the actual end user that maybe doesn't even know or care about the stack that it's built on. And I think there's a couple of reasons why that's happened. First is that if you look at the top crypto tokens that have actually accumulated huge market caps, they're basically all infrastructure. So that's the proven way to attract a huge market cap, and you benefit from Metcalfe's law and network effects and all those sorts of things. And then the second reason is unclear regulatory environment in the US. You had the SEC going after all sorts of protocols, applications, even ones that were doing everything they could to stay regulatory compliant, like Uniswap. And so oftentimes it was easier for people to say, we're just going to build a decentralized network, right? And yes, the SEC went after some of those as well, but it's actually, in my opinion, much easier to claim decentralization if it's a network, and much easier to actually have the network run on its own with or without you, as opposed to a single application. But that's mostly being resolved, right? We're getting regulatory clarity in the US. We have a more favorable SEC. And so now actually protocols can feel free to build applications that real users would use and pass on value to their token. And in my opinion, that's going to be the big crypto trade of the next few years. It's going to be getting solely past infrastructure and looking at chains and all those sorts of things, and actually building applications that people are using in their day-to-day lives, whether or not they care about speculating on crypto. And by the way, if you want to keep on top of all of this stuff more and understand the latest things happening in the industry, check out my newsletter, newsletter.dynamodefi.com. Comes out every Monday with a 5 to 10 minute read of everything you need in the crypto market. And for more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.